Blake Lively may have just committed her most disastrous move yet, and now the entire internet is watching the fallout in real time. What she attempted to bury inside her latest court filing is almost unbelievable. And here's the twist: the cover-up failed. Miserably. Her legal team tried to black out massive sections of what was supposed to be a public court proceeding, claiming it was confidential. The court wasn't buying it. They ordered everything unsealed. And when it finally came out, nothing worked in her favor. If anything, it made her situation look even worse. At this point, this isn't even a serious legal battle anymore. It's a spectacle, a full-blown sideshow. And Blake Lively is center stage, desperately spinning narratives while Ryan Reynolds applauds quietly from the background. For months, she's played the media like an instrument, leaking emotional stories to outlets like Variety and the Daily Mail, accusing Justin Baldoni's team of abusive behavior during depositions. But once the real transcripts dropped, the truth didn't match the headlines. Not even close. What the documents actually reveal is a pattern of desperation on Blake's side, twisting facts, inflating nothing into something, and burning the court's time. She accused Baldoni's attorneys of being aggressive and inappropriate. But here's the reality. They weren't even questioning her. They were speaking to an expert witness. That's right. Her claims were flat-out false. She misrepresented what happened, betting no one would dig into the paperwork. That gamble failed. Now the illusion is cracking. It's clear Blake has been hiding behind smoke and mirrors to distract from a hollow case. No hard evidence. No solid facts. Just theatrics. And the most disturbing possibility? This entire saga may be a calculated effort by Blake and Ryan to smear Baldoni's name before the trial even begins. So let's pull back the curtain on what's actually unfolding inside that courtroom, because it only gets uglier. Blake Lively's team recently filed a motion for sanctions against Justin Baldoni's attorney. Sounds dramatic, right? In reality, it's laughable. They accused his legal team of misconduct during a deposition, calling them disrespectful, combative, even insulting. But when you read the actual transcripts, it becomes painfully obvious this was nothing more than adults bickering over whether to take a short break. That's it. 9 pages of back and forth about stretching legs and timing pauses, and Blake's lawyers tried to spin that into a scandal. It gets worse. They also implied Baldoni's attorneys were asking Blake invasive personal questions. That never happened. Those questions were directed at a psychologist, Dr. Nicole Alexander, an expert witness specializing in body image and emotional trauma. Baldoni's defense brought her in to explain what standards are required to prove psychological harm. And that's where Blake's team panicked. Because Dr. Alexander's testimony threatened to expose Blake's case for what it really is, emotional performance, not proof. So what did Blake's side do? They cried misconduct, sprinted to the press, and stuffed their filings with loaded buzzwords, hoping to poison Baldoni's reputation online. And for a moment, it worked. Variety ran with it, framing the story as if Blake herself had been attacked. But the court didn't buy it. The judge didn't side with her. This wasn't justice. It was headline manipulation. Then there's the redactions. And this part is especially shady. Blake's team keeps submitting court documents with massive black bars, as if they're protecting classified intelligence. But many of these documents came from public hearings. Nothing should have been redacted at all. When the court forced her to refile them without the blackout marks, the truth was obvious. There was nothing damaging to Baldoni. If anything, Blake came off as the one crossing lines. So ask yourself, why would someone claiming emotional harm hide the very evidence meant to prove it? Why seal transcripts unless you're terrified they'll destroy your narrative? Every time her team seals a document, a conveniently timed media leak appears painting Justin as the villain. And every time the real documents come out, the story collapses. No abuse. No proof. Just smoke. Blake isn't just hiding behind redactions. She's weaponizing them. Delay the facts. Confuse the public. Control the headlines. And hovering behind all of it is Ryan Reynolds, quietly pulling strings. Industry insiders say his anger toward Baldoni escalated after Blake allegedly developed a crush on him. Jealousy that may have ignited this entire disaster. So Blake redacts, Ryan fumes, and together they attempt to manufacture scandal out of thin air. But documents don't lie, and more are about to be unsealed. things spiral further when Blake's legal team goes after Dr. Nicole Alexander herself, a respected psychologist with expertise in body image and trauma. If Blake were genuinely emotionally damaged, you'd think she'd welcome an independent expert. Instead, the moment Dr. Alexander testified that proving psychological harm requires more than someone mentioning weight, Blake's lawyers erupted. Accusations flew. Tantrums followed. They demanded more questioning, simply because they didn't like her answers. This isn't about fairness. It's about control. They want Dr. Alexander discredited so her testimony can be tossed aside. Because if it stands, Blake's emotional damage narrative collapses entirely. And here's the kicker. The psychologist was professional, unbiased, and ethical throughout. Her crime? Telling the truth. Blake's team responded by burying transcripts, slapping on more redactions, and feeding twisted sound bites to the press, knowing full well the court wouldn't support them. That's manipulation, plain and simple. When the facts don't serve your story, you don't change the story, you attack the facts. Blake assumed no one would notice. She was wrong. Blake Lively isn't fighting this battle in a courtroom. She's fighting it in the media, and she's fighting dirty. After filing those empty sanctions, her team immediately leaked them to Variety, Daily Mail, and People. Headlines exploded, claiming Baldoni's lawyers questioned Blake about her sexual past. Sounds horrific, except it never happened. Those questions were part of a standard deposition with an expert witness. But Blake's lawyers knew the media wouldn't verify the documents. They counted on sensationalism. So they fed reporters explosive language, triggered SEO algorithms with phrases like sexual misconduct, and tied Baldoni's name to scandal. It was calculated. It was disgusting. And for a few hours, it worked, until the real court filings dropped. No abuse. No misconduct. Just desperation masquerading as outrage. Behind the scenes, Ryan Reynolds is reportedly leveraging his Hollywood influence to shield Blake, no matter how ugly the truth becomes. This isn't legal strategy. It's a PR ambush, and the judge isn't buying it. Then came one of the most embarrassing moments yet, a deposition meltdown over a break. Blake's attorney demanded a recess during questioning of Baldoni's associate. His lawyer pushed back, pointing out they had 10 minutes left after 7 hours and wanted to finish. That should have been the end of it. Instead, chaos erupted. Accusations of coaching, shouting, interruptions, even forcing the witness to leave the room like a misbehaving child. This wasn't law. It was a tantrum, a desperate attempt to derail questioning because Blake's team didn't like where it was headed. No evidence, no strong arguments, just manufactured outrage and stalling tactics. They've sunk so low they're weaponizing bathroom breaks. Let's be blunt. Blake Lively's legal team is flailing. Sanctions motions, harassment claims, twisted expert testimony. But beneath all the noise, one truth is undeniable. There is no solid case. This lawsuit has become a stunt. Every filing seems designed for headlines, not courtroom success. They're not building evidence. They're building a media campaign. Ryan Reynolds isn't a bystander either. Insiders say he's quietly shaping this PR war, making sure Blake stays framed as the victim while Baldoni takes the hits. But it's backfiring. Public opinion has flipped. Scroll the comments. People see the lies, the redactions, the manipulation. Panic has set in. That's why stories are being rushed to the press. That's why witnesses are being attacked. This case began as a power play. Now it's an embarrassment. And remember the explosive claim that kicked it all off, the accusation that Baldoni bit Blake's lip without consent? Court documents now suggest it never happened. Some sources even say Blake initiated the contact and later flipped the story. Baldoni's filings hinted at projection, accusing someone else of your own behavior. The timing of that claim, dropped during a press tour right after a major media piece, was no coincidence. It was a setup, victim narrative, media leak, public pressure. But now, a year later, the truth is catching up. Her story is unraveling. The evidence isn't there. And public support is shifting sharply toward Baldoni. Blake's team keeps crying wolf, calling Baldoni's lawyers bullies. But the transcripts show something else entirely. It's Blake's side interrupting, yelling harassment, and trying to shut down valid questions. Even the judge saw through it. And when those redacted transcripts were finally unsealed, it became obvious. Baldoni's lawyers were calm and professional. Meanwhile, Blake's team has subpoenaed over 100 content creators just for covering the case. So ask again, who's really bullying whom? The intimidation isn't working anymore. Blake is losing control. The sympathy is gone. The cards are spent. And Baldoni isn't hiding. He's bringing witnesses, experts, and facts. While Blake throws tantrums, Justin stacks receipts. This isn't just a Hollywood lawsuit anymore. It's a full-scale character collapse. Blake tried to paint herself as the victim, but now she's exposed as the one pulling strings, twisting narratives, and dragging everyone down to save her image. And Ryan Reynolds? Complicit, quiet in public, busy behind the scenes. The trial is coming, and you can't redact reality on the witness stand. The jury will see it. The world will see it. And no PR machine on earth will drown out the truth once the evidence speaks louder than the headlines.